Mics are hot.
Hey guys, what's going on?
I'm gonna put it on yours wide, so.
Me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Hi guys, welcome to the Bad Tacos podcast. Was it good? Pre
Because when I do the socials, sometimes the bars come in.
Pre-pod. Actually, you could probably just turn off your mic from your mic, right? Yeah, there you go. So yes, we are. This is our pre-production for the podcast. Today's podcast or tonight's podcast is actually going to be on Shazam. We literally just walked through the door. We just saw it in AMC Century City. Fun fact: last week, Lupita Nyong'o was actually at Century City during one of the screenings, one of the movies. The screenings for us, and yeah, she met the audience right before the movie. She came out. She came out wearing
Lupita.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say?
Lupita.
I'm sorry.
You idiot.
I'm sorry. She came out wearing red and carrying some like golden scissors and like a thing of popcorn. It was pretty cool. I saw it on I don't know where I saw it. Instagram, I think. But yeah, so we just saw Shazam. This is our pre-production, so these first few minutes will be spoiler free. We don't want to give anything away if you haven't seen it, but I think I personally can say this: it is well worth seeing. Go see it in theaters.
What a fucking surprise!
Oh, it's not a guarantee thing. It's not a guarantee.
Is it
thing.
Triple Frontier? Is it Amazing Balls?
I will.
You fucking quack!
I will save my word for the podcast. For those of you who tuned in last week, we are starting the show with a sort of a new fun segment. Describe the movie in one word. And
Krishna balls.
Krishna balls, yeah. And my word last week or our last episode for Triple Frontier was Incrediballs, because that's what I thought it was, And I got people, I thought we had freedom of speech here, freedom of opinion, and apparently we don't. I was discriminated against by both of my brothers. So we're about. What did you say to me? They're able to leave us comments, right, on Twitch? Yeah, we're live everywhere.
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube's, and the Twitch.
Nice. So in this pre-production, if you want to ask us anything, right now we're setting up podcasts. If you have any questions about setting up podcasts,
someone should ask Krishna why he thinks Triple Frontier is a good movie.
And apparently I'm not the only one, Some of our coworkers also agree with me. I'm not alone.
Wouldn't that be
Yes. I am drinking Legent, or is it Legent? I don't think we know, but it is. It's a whiskey, a very nice, kind of a sweet whiskey that doesn't burn, except until it hits your stomach. So there's no burn or, horrible taste in your mouth. It just tastes a little bit sweet, and then when it hits your stomach, it's nice and warm. It's very good. Legent. That was given to us by a good friend of the show, Matt Harmon, when he came to our housewarming party. Thank you, Matthew.
Not a good friend.
Unfortunately, I cannot see the comments, so I'll have to rely on Arjuna. I had it on. I had it on because I had Restream.io on my computer, and I switched over to comments there. No comments came up on that.
So I left a comment on.
You did.
The Twitter one.
Yeah.
The Periscope.
Yeah.
And I left one on the YouTube.
So that's interesting because none of those showed up on Restream.io in the chat.
Well, I'm not gonna fix it right this second.
No. But it's just something to keep in mind. We might not be getting all the engagement or engaging with all the engagement because we can't see it. It's invisible to us. So what is it? Let's find out. Gonna look up real quick. How many DCEU movies have there been?
Here's a fun question to ask you.
Uh-huh.
Would you do a full-blown... Wait, is this mic on?
Here, question for you, Krishna.
Yeah.
Would you do a full-blown like DC movie rewatch in theaters?
For all of them?
Yeah.
No. God, no. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't do that for Star Wars, right? I had the opportunity to see it for Star Wars, the franchise I actually liked once upon a time, before it was ruined. There's no way I would do it for the DCEU. That being said, though, the DCEU, in my opinion, and this is spoiler free, of course, the first 15 minutes, DCEU has really turned it around the last couple of movies. In fact, I think you could take the last. Maybe the last 3 DCEU movies, and I think they compare pretty favorably with the last 3 Marvel movies. They're not as, I wouldn't put them above Marvel, but I don't think Marvel's blowing DC out of the water at the moment in these comic book movie wars that we have. So yeah, I don't know what DC or Warner Brothers has done to kind of turn it around. If I had to guess, and I'm sure we'll talk about this during the actual podcast, it's probably just let the directors direct, let them sort of pour forth that vision, because one of the strengths of each of the last 3 movies, in my opinion, is that each movie felt like its own thing. It didn't feel, how like in the Marvel universe, sometimes the movies, they look and feel so similar that, like Ant-Man and the Wasp, for instance, that to me is probably the weakest Marvel movie because it doesn't have a signature feel or look. Whereas DC, on the other hand, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and now Shazam, all of them, look and feel very different from each other, which is a huge bonus in my opinion. What you think, Ravi?
I'm not listening.
You're not listening to me. No one listens to me. So yeah, something to keep in mind there. Along with this Legent whiskey that I have in my hand right here, I also, because I can't leave halfway during the podcast, and I know I'm going to finish this probably in the next 20 minutes at least, right? I also bought myself what do you call this? A safety beer? Like a safety beer? Sam Adams Boston Lager. So safety.
Shout out to Sam Adams for not sponsoring this, you cunts.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by Jim Beam, which is on this glass. We're not sponsored by Legent, which is the whiskey inside the Jim Beam glass, and we're not sponsored by Sam Adams Boston Lager. Even though behind me we have some, Boston memorabilia. At least some of us in this household here like the Patriots and the Celtics and the Red Sox. Maybe even the Bruins occasionally.
Who here likes hockey?
Playoff hockey, but that's about it.
Like playoff football.
Yeah, but see, it's just more interesting. There's more on the line. There's more stakes.
Steak?
I do not want steak. No, I'm actually quite full. Ravi, how much was that popcorn, by the way? Because I definitely ate half of it.
Here, can you see that little adapter down there? Unplug that and I'll plug that back in. Yep, and then you see the cord next to it, you can plug that in. Yep.
Soon we do hope to have some Patreon stuff up and coming. To give you a preview of what some of our tiers might look like, this is not written in stone, but we do have these cool mugs, red on the inside, bad tacos on the outside. We also have some pillows over off yonder. You probably saw those if any of you saw my live stream, my live stream yesterday. Then you definitely saw the pillows. We also have T-shirts. I was wearing a T-shirt yesterday too. So. Can I preview Celebration?
Yeah, you can.
Next week, next Wednesday morning at the crack ass of dawn, we will be flying out to Chicago, which is the location of this year's Star Wars Celebration, a 5-day extravaganza. I want everyone to know, I want the world to know I'm being strong-armed. I've been taken against my will. Barry slapped a pair of cuffs on me and I can't move. No, it's actually pretty exciting. I wasn't excited about it a few months ago, but as we get closer, I am curious. I've never been to one of these things. June, have you been to one? June has never been. Only Ravi, and this will be what, Ravi's third, if I had to guess.
Yes.
This will be Ravi's third, and the fact that he has signed up for yet a third 5-day convention is a good sign. That means it's probably a lot of fun. And we expect a lot of exclusive stuff to be dropping during those 5 days. Some of those would be, I think, an episode 9 trailer or a teaser. Trailer, a full trailer for episode 9, Star Wars. Well,
To be fair, though, the
and a title, Jesus.
And the official poster, probably.
Oh, and an official poster. I think I saw some like fake ones online that look kind of interesting. So we will be bringing you, stay tuned to Bad Tacos next week, because we will be bringing you at least, some opinion stuff, some look and feels of what is being released. Also, I think a new Star Wars animated show, or is it a Clone Wars thing?
New season of Clone Wars.
A new season of Clone Wars. And a new video game. Do you know by what developer? EA. What Star Wars video games has EA done besides Battlefront and Battlefront 2? Anything good? Star Wars Commando, Rebels Commando, something like that. So, that'll be interesting. Less excited for that, to be honest, because EA, let's be honest, is a microtransaction sucking piece of garbage.
This isn't working.
Was Division 2 EA? It can't be. I thought it was something else.
Are you being serious? Alexa, turn on lights. Alexa, set lights to blue.
I don't know how to set lights to that setting.
Alexa, set lights to red.
Oh, Ubisoft.
Which one, Division?
The Division is Ubisoft. Oh, that makes sense. They do all the Tom Clancy games, right?
So it's not working. I don't hold it for this.
I expect there's a lot of good cosplays at this Star Wars
Can
convention.
you kill the lights? Can you turn your light on?
Yes. Now we are getting ready to prepare, so our settings are about to change. Again, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comment box of your viewing device of your choice, whatever. It's been a long day.
Oh, I'm gonna go pee.
Ravi's going to go pee, everyone.
You can access the outline from your phone.
Oh, good.
And write while you pee.
Yes. Junior, want to jump in here? Is Shazam spoiler-free preview before our podcast? Do the good people. Is it worth seeing Shazam in theaters? If you're not a member of the AMC A-list, is it worth shelling out, let's say, $23 to see it in IMAX?
Excuse me, hold on 1 second.
Junior's putting out the
No.
What? Really?
That's all I have to say.
Damn.
You have to watch the pod to find out.
Okay, so Junior disagrees with me. He says no. I say yes. Yes, it is. Do you want me to turn it up? Okay, hang on. Turn it up. Cool. So I disagree with Arjuna. I do think it is worth seeing in theaters. If you want to know the reasons why, stay tuned for the podcast. It's going to be spoiler heavy. If you don't care about spoilers, then keep watching or listening. Watching, I guess. But if you do care about spoilers, know at least half of us. I think it's worth seeing in theaters. And based on what Ravi has said to me, I think Ravi would agree with me, not you.
Like you're both a bunch of idiots.
Yes.
Just Triple Frontier is better.
Triple Frontier was an
I'm just kidding.
incredible.
Triple Frontier wasn't good.
It was good.
I haven't made my decision yet about Shazam! Exclamation point.
Was it really an exclamation point at the end of the title?
I think so.
Damn. Who was it directed by? I don't even know.
1 second, please.
Arjuna, I thought you knew all this stuff at the top of your head.
David F. Sandberg. Yeah, David F. Sandberg, who has also done, drumroll please. He's done 2 other movies, directed 2 other movies. A movie called Lights Out, which is based on his short film, and he did Annabelle Creation.
I can't say
which
I
is
know
a horror movie.
Either of those movies.
It's part of the Conjuring universe.
Oh, interesting. The Conjuring, okay. A few people have told me I need to see that if I even like horror movies at all.
His Wikipedia picture is from the 2017 WonderCon.
Damn. Every director is a WonderCon nerd, it seems. Too much space between my head and the top of the frame. I'm the man, I'm the man, you're the man, you're the man. Oh, Megatron's trying to escape. For those of you who don't know, a cat lives in this apartment or house, I guess, with us. His name is Megatron, and he is a devil. Megatron. Oh, he looked. I think he kind of knows his name. He's trying to escape, I think. Which is very interesting because he likes it down here. So he can only he wants to escape because he hates us. Boom, 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 boom. So yes, if you guys have any questions, please leave us a comment below. Oh, thank you, Matt Gothard, for liking our tweet. Shout out to Matt Gothard. Where else? What else is going on? And also, if you have any other general questions about anything, ask us if we've seen any movies or TV shows or play any video games, and if you want our opinions on them. We might have seen them. Quick aside, let's do a real quick pod, Arjuna. I guess it's just me and you on the first 2 episodes of The Twilight Zone. I thought they were good. Not great, but good. I enjoyed them. The first one was a little bit dry.
I actually really enjoyed them.
You really enjoyed them?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Kumail one.
The first one.
Very first one. I think I like that one more than the Adam Scott one.
Interesting. Okay. It was more original, obviously, because I felt like the Adam Scott one was based on 20,000 something in the air, or Nightmare at 20,000 feet. There we go.
Yeah, something like that.
And this one, the Adam Scott one, is what, the 3rd remake of that iconic classic Twilight Zone's episode.
You're an episode. Did you ever think about that?
I am. That would explain a lot. Kind of like the Truman Show, you know.
I'm sorry. What? What did you just say to me?
Megatron. Can you see him?
Yes.
Say hello to your little friend. Say meow. Uh-huh. All right, put it down. Hey! I put him down, he immediately bites me.
You deserved it.
How dare you? Who?
Engage with the audience.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, audience. I didn't mean to ignore you. But everyone knows it's all about the audience. And if the audience doesn't like you, you get downvoted, and then you get deleted from the internet.
It's true.
That's the way we're heading.
That's what happens.
That's the way we're going, man. All of our consciousnesses will be uploaded into the uplink, into the satellites.
So just talk. How you're gonna talk?
Hello, everyone. My name is Krishna Ramgopal. Once again, for all of those of you who don't know me, we are Bad Tacos. Today we are talking about Shazam. We literally just saw it. Not even.
No, we didn't. We didn't see it. We didn't.
We didn't see this. We're actually just gonna make it up.
Yes.
We're actually gonna try and screw over a lot of people.
I'm actually gonna show the cat now.
You can do
This is the cat right there. Do you see it? There it goes.
Oh.
Looking into the door.
Just push, man. He has the strength to get out. He just won't do it.
He needs to watch the movie Get Out.
Oh, great movie.
And then he needs to watch us while he is in the washing machine.
Push,
He's
man.
trying
You
to
can
get
do
out.
it.
Watch this cat go.
I know. This is like an epic struggle.
This is a great stream because it's just us narrating to this video of a
Of
cat
this cat.
pushing out. As you can see here in nature, this is how a cat is born. It pushes through the door, which is the vagina hole of the cat.
What? No.
That's how it works.
Oh, he gave up. You're a weakling, man. He has the strength to get out. I don't understand why he won't just go for it, you know? He's too cautious. He's too cautious, man. Either that or he needs to bulk up so he has the weight to actually move the door. Do some push-ups, man.
Da.
Do some push-ups.
Da.
Cat.
Da.
Actually, you know what? Let us know in the comments when you're actually going to be watching Shazam. Curious. Is it high on your list of movies, or is the anticipation of Endgame next month, overshadowing this movie? Because I actually do feel like, and we'll talk about this in the podcast too, I feel like them scheduling this release of Shazam right before Endgame is probably going to hurt it big time.
Do you think it's going to hurt Endgame?
No. Endgame being so close to this is going to hurt Shazam. I think it's going to get a little overshadowed. It's not going to get as much love as maybe it could have if it had been released maybe after Endgame, maybe 2 or 3 months after. Potentially. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm completely right.
Maybe I'm just a douchebag.
Maybe I'm a douchebag. What
I'm
day is
adjusting
today? Is
our
today
line
Thursday?
right now.
Today Thursday? Today's Thursday. Great. Actually, I'll be right back. I have to grab a water.
Oh, this cat is playing with his little spinning thing.
Why does he choose now of all times? He has all day to do that. Doesn't do it all day. Now he's like, this is a great time.
Because he's an idiot. All right, I guess we have to go wide to me. Here we go. The star of the show is here. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, hello, hello, hello. It's me, Arjuna. Just saying, what's up? How's it going? It's my quarterback. That's my teammate. I don't really know what I'm saying right now. Who are you? I'm just adjusting right now our display for our stream. Fun fact, today I actually listened to... the trailer for the Joker movie dropped yesterday. And in the trailer, they do an older version of the song Smile. And then they kind of Jokerize it a little bit. And someone did a cut of that song, put it on YouTube. They just took out the audio parts from the trailer. And I listened to that YouTube clip for 3 straight hours while I worked today.
3 straight hours?
Yep.
You never really got over that movie Us, did you?
Well, no, we're not real. So.
You don't know if you're tethered or if you are a real human.
There are no consequences to our actions. At all. I can do anything. I can do anything.
Are you stuck? Is that because of the Stargate episode we watched yesterday? Was it called Waiting to Happen? No. I forget what
It was called Drum Roll, please.
No.
I said drum roll, please.
I'm doing it. I don't know if you can
You're
tell.
not.
I'll do it with my eyebrows.
Okay, keep doing that. Drum roll,
I'm still going.
please. It's called Window of Opportunity.
Haha, I knew I was so close.
You weren't close.
Waiting to Happen. Window of Opportunity. Same goddamn thing. Actually, I don't know if any of the folks saw. Ravi actually had a tweet, I think, after we watched the episode last night, saying that it was the best episode of sci-fi television ever.
Yeah.
Bold.
That's
Bold. I haven't seen. I don't watch Star Trek, and I don't remember Battlestar, so I can't comment.
Oh, Krishna. That's what you sound like.
I don't know if you guys know, I am bullied. I'm actually, my eyes are crying out for help right now, even though I sound like I'm fine.
Help, help.
So come and rescue me from this monster.
You wish I was a monster.
No, I don't.
You all do. I'm Batman.
Hello of the Ori.
Wow.
How do I know what that is?
You must
Because I've heard you guys say
You
so
must
many
be a true
times.
Stargate fan.
No. I just remember Juna chasing us around with a stick. Literally, he was probably 8 years old maybe, and we lived in New Hampshire, and he would chase us around with a stick that he bought on a hiking trip to the White Mountains. The stick was bigger than he was, and he would chase us around with it, screaming, "Creature fire! Creature fire!" We have it on video actually somewhere, and it's pretty. He'd run around in like these rain boots that came up to his like thigh. It's pretty hysterical. Not gonna lie. Yeah, you're a pale child.
You're just a douchebag of a child.
Hey, I'm bald now, so just like what's his name? Who's the guy who plays the bad guy in Shazam? Michael Levi.
Mark Strong.
What the hell did Michael Levi come from? Mark Strong, just like Mark Strong, because he's bald sometimes. Actually, all the time, right? He's bald.
Yeah, he's a bald man.
Just like that, you know.
How old? How old do you think Mark Strong is?
Oh God.
I want you to guess.
I'm gonna guess he's 52.
That's not a bad guess. It's 55.
55, yeah. He looks younger than that, but he's been around forever, so there's no way he's.
There's
no way he's younger than 45.
The first movie you probably saw him in that you might remember, Krishna, is. Do you remember that movie Syriana?
Yeah, but vaguely.
With George Clooney, Matt Damon.
Oh wow, yeah.
Damn, this is actually a really good cast. George Clooney, Matt Damon, Jeffrey Wright.
Who's that?
Jeffrey Wright is Bernard from Westworld. Christopher Plummer.
Oh, okay.
Chris Cooper.
Who's that?
Tim Blake Nelson.
I
William Hurt.
I don't know any of these guys.
These are all big name actors.
Not big enough. Apparently.
Amanda Peet.
I don't know who these guys are.
Amanda Peet is is a comedian who, or actress. I don't know what I'm saying.
Actually, I feel like you're trolling me. Most of these people I've never heard of.
Chris Cooper is the guy who played the Green Goblin's dad, Norman, in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I don't remember that guy.
He's this guy.
Oh, okay. Word. I mean, he's not a big name actor. He's like a bit actor. I'm just kidding. Don't hurt me, William Cooper.
Are the lights set?
Yeah,
No.
but yeah, mine's.
I was trying to adjust the cameras. I failed.
We're looking correctly.
Yeah. I might have messed this up, though.
Okay.
Well, I got it.
You want to fix it? Alright. Let me get water.
Yes, I do.
That's where that mini fridge would come in handy.
Swear to me.
We'll go buy one. And install it in your head.
You just plug it in. We're not getting a smart mini fridge. Here, Alexa, bring me a Coke.
Bacardi and Coke, my fanway.
And it comes on a train set that we have to set up. That's the kind of that's like a dream house of a 5-year-old. A train set that delivers you shit. Is that a dream of Arjuna?
What the hell?
Oh yeah, these monopods, man.
They just keep falling over?
No, that was the first time. But I feel like that's normal for the monopods, right? Because you have a lot of weight and there's not much.
I have another monopod and it was fine.
Which one? Where? Maybe they were weighted properly in the bottom.
No, there's like a bump. The thing, it's not flat. Is this in his shot?
Is this light on the left of me or your right in my shot?
No, it's not in the shot.
Cool. All right.
What changes more to a red light?
Do I need to wear a hat or is my bald head good?
It's actually good right now.
Perfect.
Alexa,
I hate wearing a hat inside.
turn
Actually, a
on
hat in all in general.
bedroom. Alexa, turn off bedroom. Alright. This is better. Alright. Break up the groups in Alexa.
Oh shit. The Bruins won. Who's the man? Who's the man? Who's the man? I see a little silhouette of a man's. Ooh. This is the part of the pre-production where everyone is just deep in thought and also trying to get everything set up. So, a thingy thing. I drank that Legion too fast. You know how I know?
Alexa, turn on white light.
Because it's finished. That's how I know.
Alexa, turn off white light.
A few things share the name my light. Which one did you want?
White light. How's that looking on his side?
Let's turn your personal light down a little, Krishna. Is that off?
Yes.
No, it's turn it back up. There you go. So that's lower than where it was, but higher than what it was just now.
Looks okay. There's some shadows on the chairs behind.
Fuck, I
you.
will do it live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
We'll
fine.
do it live. Shadows are good. Shadows make it look like we're in a creepy basement, which we kind of are. It's very conspiracy-esque. If you ever get your conspiracy podcast going, you have the perfect setup for it. Actually, this is how you would do it, right? You would sit on this side, bright light, with a dark background behind you.
We need to buy another monitor so that you and I can see our setups better.
We don't have a free one? No. We really don't, huh?
Nope.
I have so much extra stuff, by the way, I stole from. I just have.
How's my background? Hey.
Except for your cat.
Did one of your lights go out? You went really dark.
Yeah, turn the one on the back off.
Yeah, Christian and I are relatively the same. You're not as red.
That looks better.
Yeah, can you lean into where you're gonna sit? Yeah, you might want to turn this light up a tiny bit.
Blah, 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 blah.
Can you move to your right a little bit? Or yeah, adjust your camera a little bit more.
That might have adjusted my camera.
You can
though.
adjust it, right, Arjun? Like, because you can see it. I can't see it.
That's fine.
Might have adjusted my camera though, because I saw it moving. Mine moving this way. Just a heads up.
How?
Because the whole rig moved.
Did it?
Yep. Whatever this thing moved. I think.
Ravi, when you talk, can you sit up kind of like this? Because your mouth is completely covered.
That's how I like to talk, though.
Yeah, but it looks bad for our social clips.
Maybe just lower this.
This is as low as it goes.
So, oh, okay. Yeah, bring your chair in. That's all.
I'm supposed to be comfortable. There we go.
So
How's that?
nice.
Nice frames.
Noise frame.
How's that? Is that still okay?
The audio's not as good.
Actually, Ravi, real quick before we do this podcast, Arjun's already told the people. I've already told the people. Do you recommend the people, without ruining the movie, do you recommend people go see it in IMAX in the theaters?
You have to listen to the whole podcast to get
No,
that answer.
Ravi, we promised them in a tweet that you told me to tweet out that they would have an answer on if it was worth seeing it without having to listen to the whole podcast.
And it's worth seeing.
All right, so it's 2-1. That's right, Ravi. Someone here said it was not worth seeing.
Really? Who?
Yes.
Is it Arjuna?
Mm-hmm.
Is it just called Shazam?
Yes. Was there an exclamation point at the mark at the
Yes.
end, or
Yep.
there is? Shit.
What's he doing? Stop licking your butthole.
Megatron, leader of the Decepticons, always licking his butthole.
I mean, that's what every good leader does, right?
I mean, Trump does it.
Yeah. Oh, actually, can we get kind of semi-jokey political real quick? Is Trump losing his mind? Is he going? Does he have dementia? Based on what he said in the last week or so.
I have no idea what he said in the last week or so.
I think rapid fire within 1 minute called, what was it? Instead of saying instances, he was saying oranges. 3 times in a minute. Oh my God, there's like 2 other things as well, Major, and I'm just blanking on what they are. But basically, people are like, he's going senile. He has dementia. He doesn't know what he's saying or doing anymore. Which is a nice cop out, to be honest. But do you guys follow Kyle Dunnigan, the comedian?
No.
He does he does really funny Instagram stories with face swaps of like famous people. Highly recommend checking him out. It's very funny stuff. He did one with Ray Liotta, and during the Chantix commercial, which is the patch, I think, or the thing that you take to kick cigarettes or nicotine addiction, is hilarious. Check out Kyle Dunnigan. Was that your Ray Liotta laugh? No, that's.
All right, I'm ready.
That's Joker.
All right, we're ready.
Do you want to go through the outline? We have the intro, doing the one-word impression,
Mm-hmm.
favorite, least favorite part, fun
Nice.
facts, box office, theories, rants.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, that's
Beans.
perfect. That's perfect.
Cool
yeah.
beans.
Is there anything else? Is there anything else specific anyone wants to bring up during the pod? That
I think
doesn't
it's gonna
fit
come
into
out.
those?
It's gonna come out fairly naturally.
Let's do some mic checks. Krishna?
Hello, my name is Krishna. We're talking about Shazam.
Shazam.
Shazam. I'm now a big buff guy, about 25 years older than how I look, which makes me a really frail old guy, I think. If that's the power. Actually, we should talk about that. I'm curious to see what the actual power is, because I'm just curious.
Ravi?
Power has nothing to do with anything. Everything is a lie. The world is a lie. You're a lie.
Get angry? Christian, get angry?
Yeah, no, Arjuna, I disagree with you because you have hair and I do not.
Hello, this is Arjuna, and I'm talking now, and I'm really angry. I'm really, really angry. Christian, do you have your headphones?
Yes. They're right here, and I haven't put them on. I was trying to be cool, but now I'm a loser.
Now
I can hear myself. Okay, some notifications from Twitter, guys. Ravi replied.
Twitter.
Adrian Wojnarowski.
Wojbomb?
Giannis went off for 45 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 blocks in 35 minutes.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Okay, we ready?
No.
We're not ready?
Hold on, I gotta pull up the damn
As
page.
always, for our listeners and watchers out there right now who are watching the live stream, please ask us questions throughout this whole podcast. We'll answer questions during and after the podcast.
If they're good.
If they're good.
They have to be good questions. And relevant to Shazam. But afterwards, you can ask us irrelevant if you like. That's fine.
Unrelevant. I'm ready.
All right.
Megatron found a new hiding spot. He's behind Arjuna in the corner,
That's weird.
behind
Alright.
the box.
We ready to start recording? Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Was It Good? Today we're reviewing Shazam, the newest and goofiest DCEU film to date. I'm your host Ravi, joined by my two brothers, Christian and Arjuna. We're breaking down Shazam, looking at the CGI, the worst and best parts of the film, and what the film really means on a deeper level. And yes, I know I said film weird. I said it like film.
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 I actually adds like a layer of professionalism to me. Every professional ever says a word kind of funny, like cool whip.
Cool
Professional.
whip.
Professional.
Cool whip.
Pure professional.
We're going to try something different. Today, we're going to do our one-word impressions, and we're going to start with someone new.
What?
Krishna, go ahead.
Oh, thank God. I'm like, this is all I got on this podcast, man. Let's go in first. One word impression. Amazeballs.
Oh, for the love of God, you can't use it. Okay.
No.
No rule.
No.
No more
Last
making
week-
up what
last-
words.
Are you serious? It's way less interesting, but fine.
Christian,
we'll go,
this is
we'll
how-
go with amazing then. 'Cause
Christian,
apparently amazing is
Real quick, if you continue making up words, the youth of the nation, by POD, will eventually pick up on those new words, and we will ruin the English language.
worse than kofefe. Really? You're gonna pin that on me?
You are as bad as Kofefe.
I'm sticking with it. Amaze balls it is. Yeah,
Fine.
amazeballs.
Arjuna, one word to sum up the film. Also, Arjuna, how was your day?
You know, it was all right.
I don't care.
Okay, well, my one word would be average.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, my one word is going to be. I put it in the beginning of our intro. Goofiest. It's going to be a variant of that word, which is goofy.
Goofy.
The film was goofy.
Nice. Oh, so that's nice. It's neutral. We can't tell if you liked it or not. It could be bad. It could be good. It's good. It's a nice neutral.
Do you remember a Goofy movie?
No.
Really? So a Goofy movie was with the characters surrounding like Donald Duck.
Oh, like I've never. I don't think I've ever seen it, but I guess I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So a Goofy movie. The reason I bring it up is some would describe that as a Goofy movie or Goofy. I wouldn't say that it was positive, negative. It was all negative.
Really?
That movie's terrible.
Oh, okay.
One of the worst things in the universe.
Oh.
We should probably have kicked Megatron out because
Nah, he's fine.
He adds a little bit of flavor.
No, he adds background noise.
That's fine.
Let's break down these words. Arjuna, let's start with you. Why did you sum up the movie with the one word average for Shazam?
I think just, I think it's a generic superhero movie. I think it hits a lot of familiar beats. It actually hits a lot of familiar older beats to, it reminded me a lot of the classic Spider-Mans from the early 2000s. It's weird to say classic for the early 2000s, but that's 20 years ago at this point.
You're old.
And you're older than I am. And it reminded me a lot of that and some of the X-Men stuff. So yeah, it just seemed like it kind of seemed like a throwback, and I don't think this movie necessarily did anything unique. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just average.
I'm going to fight you on this because as siblings, that's what we do.
Sure,
We
okay.
fight and have to disagree on everything. So I'm going to argue against the word average. I mean, let's look at we're going to go with the staple in comic book movies, Marvel. Where are we at? 22 movies? 23 movies?
And a lot of those movies are average.
Right. So if every movie is average,
Yes.
then there's no such thing as above average, below average. Everything's just average.
I wouldn't say everything's average. I wouldn't say every single MCU movie is average. Some are below average. Some are very below average. Some are good. Some are even great. For DCEU, I wouldn't say every movie is average. Most of them are very bad.
Except Justice League. It's great.
That was the first thing you said to me as we left.
I
Not as good as Justice League.
I
I was
started
like, you motherfucker.
I started laughing as soon as as I was saying it because I couldn't complete the
Yeah,
sentence.
you couldn't complete it. It was great. I also looked around too. I was like, I hope no one heard that.
Wow, is that like an embarrassing thing to like?
It is. I'm like,
I'm a Justice League truther, okay? I believe in that film.
it's fine. If I have Triple Frontier, you can have Justice League.
I believe in Harvey Dent. But
That
Arjuna,
is the Nolan trilogy.
I have a question. If all other movies no longer existed and we lived in a weird world where there was only DCEU film, oh my goodness, the cat is up and knocking over Funko Pops.
Actually, none of them have fallen over yet.
Eventually. Anyway, would you consider this movie still average within specific to the DCEU? Ugh.
No, it would be above average. for
Okay.
sure.
And to clarify, you're saying it's an average superhero film.
Yes.
Okay.
In terms of every superhero movie that I've ever seen. So that includes the original Spider-Mans, the original X-Men's, one-offs like Watchmen, the Dark Knight trilogy. You even can throw in the Incredibles there. You know what I mean? Those are technically superhero movies. There's a wide breadth of superhero movies, and I would put this somewhere in the middle.
Does the Incredible real quick on the Incredibles, do they have a comic book line?
Ooh,
I think they do
good
actually
question.
now.
No,
Because of the
before
movies.
the movie though, because that should be what qualifies it as a comic book movie.
No, but we said superhero movies, not comic
Shit.
book.
That's a good one.
We did
All
not
right,
say
well
comic
done,
book
well
hero.
done.
Fine.
I'm waiting for the
Comic book
live
movie.
action One Punch Man movie because that would be a superhero movie.
Give it some
Correct.
time, and probably Netflix would pick up on that.
Ooh.
I'm still not done with this.
Even Hancock is a superhero.
real quick. So, do you still though? So you believe this is a average superhero film?
Yes.
Where does it rate in this other the other film that we did last week, actually, our last podcast,
Oh,
Triple Frontier. Which is better, Shazam, a DCEU film, or Triple Frontier, a clusterfuck Netflix piece of garbage?
I don't want to reveal all of my. I don't want to reveal everything yet. You know, our podcast builds to our result, and
to the end game.
Oh, you
get
mother-
out.
You-
Well, I just don't want to get there yet because I feel like if I say it one way or the other, I give my answer away.
Interesting.
I think Arjuna picked up a lot on his
Interesting.
earlier podcast on Monday.
Oh yeah, he's not
hold
he's-
back a little bit.
He's not trying to do.
Yeah.
What is
You
it?
gotta-
What is this term?
Grandstand.
Grandstanding. Actually, Arjuna, as we're talking about, do you want to talk about the other podcast that we are producing with
Yes, Bad Tacos Media has launched our second podcast of all time. It is called Empire Nation. It is a baseball debate podcast between a Red Sox fan, myself, and a Yankees fan, Julian Schwab. Every week we debate which team had the better week, which team won, and then we have an arbiter, a guest arbiter, come in and judge who the winner was. We actually did our first episode on Monday. Matt Harmon was our guest arbiter, and he was a great judge because, spoiler alert, he picked someone who I admire a lot to win that episode. But you're going to have to listen to the episode to find out. It is
Well
Empire
done.
Nation, available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and anywhere you get your favorite iTunes podcast. You can follow us at Twitter on at Empire Nation Pod.
I'm going to make sure I unfollow.
Wow. We have no followers. So.
Wow. Awkward. Christian, let's go to your made-up word, amazeballs. Why would you...
Amazeballs, yeah.
First of all, what gives you the right, sir? What gives you the right to make up fake words?
Creative writing major.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Apologies, sir.
Yeah, I'm
Totally sorry.
I'm overly qualified.
I'm very sorry. Anyway, you use the term amazeballs. That's obviously two words combined into one.
Yes.
Amazing,
Yes.
and then balls.
Yeah.
I'd like to start with balls.
Okay. I'm gonna get away from this balls thing because I realize it's throwing a lot of confusion into my. I just like to add balls to everything because it makes the word so much more epic. It really does. Incredible, incredibles, amazing, amazeballs. I mean, it just makes the word so much better. So, in a nutshell, what I'm saying is, I thought the movie was amazing, except for one detail, which I'm sure we'll get into. The movie to me was way above average for superhero movies. In fact, it beats out a lot
I
of
feel
Marvel
like that
movies.
is a direct shot.
Well, since you brought up where sort of where you put them in terms of superhero movies, I would say that for me, it beats out a lot of movies. It's definitely in my top 10. It's probably not top 5, but it's definitely in my top 10, which makes it way above average because there's been that many superhero movies.
What would be in your top 10, just out of curiosity?
I mean,
Not to derail your point, but to derail your point.
to derail my point,
Not- well, not to.
Guardians, Logan, Winter Soldier, and a couple of other movies, and this one. Yeah. I mean, I can't go through the list. I said it's
of course.
probably in my top 10, right?
Okay.
You
Um,
think Shazam is in your top 10?
Yes.
Wow.
Shazam.
Shazam. Yeah.
Shazam. Interesting.
Well, maybe it's definitely better than average. It's definitely in my top half, right?
So far, we have an average person and an above average person.
Yeah, well, amazeballs.
Amazeballs.
I was thoroughly entertained by this movie. I thought it hit on several beats very well. It tied together 3 distinct plot lines pretty seamlessly, which a lot of superhero movies can't do.
Wait, 3 plot lines?
Yeah. The bad guys plot line,
Billy Madison.
Billy Madison's, and I guess it's really just 2. I guess those are the 2 that kind of combine into Billy Madison has 2, really, right? He's dealing with the superhero powers, and then also dealing with family and his mother.
Couldn't you argue though that that's still the same plot line because
You can,
everything started and led to because of that one singular
but
path.
I still look at it as 2 plot lines that sort of interweave together. And yeah, there's a lot of similarities, but those, in my mind, those are still two plot lines that run parallel to each other, and then they intersect at various points in the movie. And I thought that was really well done. I thought both the actors who played young Billy Madison and older Billy Madison did a great job. I wish they had more in common. And what I mean by that is sometimes I felt young Billy Madison was too emo and older Billy Madison, or Shazam, was too kiddie. So it didn't always seem to match up. Like it wasn't a perfect thing, but that's fine. I'm willing to overlook that. So to be honest, I thought the action was perfectly average, the CGI perfectly average, the special effects perfectly average, and I was still extremely, extremely entertained by this movie, which tells me a lot. That tells me the writing was good, the performances were good, the directing was good, and that, to me, that's more important in a movie than any of those other things. And so Shazam is not just a above average superhero movie. To me, it was a good movie, and that's why I say amazeballs, because it far surpassed my expectations as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazeballs, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
So for my word was goofy, and the main reason for that, we're used to kind of like the typical Marvel goofiness, the one-liners, specifically in the Marvel films, you have a lot of folks, with the one-liners, the, kind of making fun sometimes of the fourth wall or making fun of superheroes in general. We've not seen that in the DC comic line at all with any of the films that have come out so far. Every film has always been insanely aggressive, violent, and just plain dang nasty scary sometimes. And this one, there was a lot of moments where they added some of the similar goofy Marvel tropes, if you will, that you see, and then they took it to another level. Specifically, there's that one scene where they were both, towards the end of the film, Shazam and the evil eyeball man with the sins.
Mark Strong.
Hold on.
That's his name.
Mark Strong's character, who is Dr. Savannah.
So Dr. Savannah and Shazam.
Thaddeus.
And Dr. Savannah starts yelling at what he's going to do. I'm going to eat your beating heart and destroy the world and blah, blah, blah. And Shazam says, dude, I can't hear you.
Because they're too far away.
That
was brilliant.
It was amazing because a lot of times you see this iconic moment in a lot of superhero films. And instead of kind of, I can easily hear you and building the intensity, it was like more of a, I can't hear you at all. And then I don't know if they did this on purpose. And with the tone of the film, I feel like they did. But there was a lot of hero shots. A lot of the epically slow standing, putting your chest out. And at one point, I feel like I counted maybe 3 or 4 within 60 seconds of that happening towards that end last fight. And I truly think they were kind of just, trolling us at that point. Where
maybe,
they were like,
maybe,
why not?
I mean,
And then there was also another piece that was really goofy was when he first gets his powers and he's trying to figure out, he hears like a female scream and he runs over and he thinks a woman being mugged, but it was actually the woman using pepper spray on the criminal and he was screaming like a girl. I thought that was actually really, really funny. I was like,
hilarious.
Okay, it set up everything really, really well. And then also, he's a superhero and the first thing he's thinking as well is, I'm going to go get some beer.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
Beer, strip club.
Yeah.
It makes it. It's 15 years old.
Exactly.
I mean,
It makes him seem like more of a realistic character.
Yeah.
And it made everything about the film feel more grounded, right? Remember, in some ways, the first Batman, it felt a little bit grounded because they were using practical effects. This was more simple in the sense of, what does any 14, 15-year-old kid, what are they going to go do?
Yeah.
Majority of them in the United States, this is what they're going to go do.
And not only that, but like a 15-year-old with a pretty complicated past, right? He's not like your average 15-year-old either. He's bounced around for foster homes. We find out later that spoilers, that his mom, completely pretty much abandoned him when he was like way, tall, and he spends the whole movie trying to find her. Yeah, I've actually had the either the privilege or the curse of sitting next to Ravi during several movies now, several specifically DC movies. And I remember Justice League. Ravi, it was literally like Ravi cringing and going, what the fuck? Like he looked like, during Justice League, Ravi looked like at several points he was going to stand up and just walk out, go on a bathroom break and never come back.
Because it was such an amazing film.
This movie, Ravi was literally trying hard not to crack up. Like he was trying to stay composed, and I saw him going,
yeah, it was
funny. It was great.
It was some real life LOL moments.
Yeah.
For the older folks that listen, that means laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that meant lollipops over licks.
Anyway, let's keep moving things along because that was weird. So obviously we've talked about a couple of our favorite pieces of the film, through us discussing our one-word impressions here. Arjuna, what would you say would be, and this doesn't have to be a particular scene. It could just be an overall theme. It could be editing, camera. What was the thing in the film that you remember as the one thing that you just, why did you do that?
There were a couple of shots where there was like one where he was Billy. I can't actually remember what the exact scene was, but they slowed it down and it had that like look where it was like really like 90s cheesy. Like
this is towards the end of the film where
Yeah.
Dr. Savan is shoving a 14-year-old's head into an ice pond.
Yeah.
And then I believe one of his sisters is being attacked, and he looks up slowly, and it's very clear that they didn't plan that.
Yeah, it was not shot that way, and it was done in very late in post, and it just looked terrible. It was awful, and a couple of those moments took me out a little bit. Like they're forgivable, but when this is a Warner Brothers big DCEU $200 million type of production, those mistakes are kind of glaring to me. This isn't like a $10 million, $5 million film. This is a big film that a lot of people have been working on for 2+ years, from pre-production all the way to post and everything. And it's just weird that something like that got out, or they didn't choose a different shot or something.
I feel like this was the director and the producer just yelling at each other.
Maybe. I mean, it certainly happens where I've heard for some cuts, it's just like the director comes in and tells the editor what to do. A producer comes in and tells the editor completely something different. And then if it's like a big star, like a Tom Cruise, they come in and tell the editor
So
to do
Tom,
something.
Dick, and Harry.
Literally.
Something else to do.
Why you would want to be a editor in mainstream Hollywood always confuses me.
Because you love the art.
Yeah, but they're not
art.
creating necessarily art.
I know.
Either
Oh,
way.
believe me.
Either
I
way.
know.
Either
but-
way. Either way.
I do want to bring up one thing. So the movie is heavy on bullying. And some of the all the characters, the main characters are foster kids. And actually we had our chat on for this show and we started getting bullied.
Did we?
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Oh.
we had
Oh.
some
Please inform
cyber
us.
bullies on YouTube specifically calling us names. So I actually had to turn off the live chat on our live stream. If you're listening to this podcast, you can watch the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever. But I had to turn it off because there are some comments that aren't, very appropriate, I would say, for a live stream. Even though we do swear on this podcast.
Wow.
Damn.
We've got some.
I really want to see them.
You can actually, if you look at my camera right now, you can see the biggest bully of them all.
Oh,
That
yes.
cat.
Well, that cat, man. That cat.
There.
I will
I
say
can point.
the part of the movie that kind of frustrated me a little bit, and it's really my only like quibble with the movie overall, is that last fight scene just dragged way too long. And I think a lot of the issues that you're talking about comes across because the last fight scene feels like it's 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like it was too long. If they could have shortened it a little bit, to me it was too long. It just dragged a little bit too much. Like the movie had a nice pacing up until that last fight scene. I understand they were trying to hit several like turning points, in that last battle scene, like turning points, important like things that they learned within that fight scene.
Sure.
And those parts are cool. It's just that the action in between getting to those turning points took too long, I think.
I think
There wasn't enough. Yeah, I don't know.
One of the more interesting choices in this movie that kind of reminded me of Spider-Man: Homecoming was the very first scene focusing on the villain. You're kind of watching this kid, and you're like, "Oh, is this like young Billy?" At first, and then you hear his name is Todd, and then the thing kind of happens. And you're like, "Oh, this is probably the origin for the villain, Mark Strong's character." Also, fun fact, they don't name drop him, I think, specifically, but they do allude to Black Adam.
Really?
Yeah, so when...
because I was waiting for that the entire
so
film,
they
honestly.
did. So the sorcerer, I think when he's talking to Billy says, or when he's talking to Todd, he says, we once accidentally gave it to someone, and they released the 7 sins, and
That was
millions
Billy.
of
He was
people-
talking to Billy in the beginning.
Yeah, so that's referencing Black Adam.
So Black Adam was the first Shazam?
He's the very first Shazam, who was a long time ago. And then in the eyes of the sorcerer, he did all this evil and stuff, and that's why the sorcerer Shazam waited to bestow his power on someone truly worthy. I don't know Savannah's backstory very well, so I don't know if he is like another one that's chosen but gets this eye thing or whatever, because he doesn't have the exact same powers as Shazam. Obviously, he doesn't transform. His powers come from the 7 deadly sins. But I thought it was it was interesting to focus on the villain to start, when the reason they didn't do Black Adam was because they didn't want to focus on the villain too much. And I don't know. For me, like, I like Mark Strong as an actor. I think he's strong and very capable, but it kind of came off as flat. Like, this is a movie about Shazam. I've never seen anything about Shazam. I want to get to Shazam. And it just felt like plodding along a little bit. While I thought, like, in Spider-Man, when they focused on Vulture, on Michael Keaton's Vulture, that worked because there's been 5 Spider-Man movies before. I don't need to see Spider-Man's origin again for the 6th time. We can start with the villain, and I already know.
Wait, so you're saying that this film didn't give you enough Shazam origin story?
No, not that it didn't give me enough. It's just like the way the movie started. I want to start with Billy. I want to start with Shazam. I didn't want to start with the villain necessarily.
Right, but starting with the villain, we need a villain for a hero.
No, you're right, but I felt like that beginning scene didn't add enough for me to justify this is the way it starts. Because like he murders his dad and his brother, and I get it's his motivation. But it was just like it felt very long, and I was kind of like that was probably the most boring part in the movie to me. So I was like very bored to start the movie. And it took me a while to get back up to being excited again. While I kind of wish we started with Billy and we started with Shazam, and I think you can sprinkle in this. I think you could have sprinkled in the same amount that you had with Savannah, and it would have had the same effectiveness. Because I'm not going to say he was a great villain. But he's certainly not the worst superhero villain we've ever seen in our lives, Malekith. But
Malekith is a great villain. You take that back, young man.
Who the hell is Malekith again?
Christopher Eccleston's dark elf character from Thor Dark World. The Chamber of Secrets to the MCU.
So I will disagree a little bit, because I actually liked the starting with the villain, because I think superhero movies, too often, the villain is either completely overpowers the hero or is completely underdeveloped and, no one cares. So I felt like at least starting with the villain, and you knew from the beginning, right? At least 3/4 of the way through that opening scene that, this guy's going to be the bad guy. And I like that because now we know motivation. We know that his family life sucked. I enjoyed it because at least with that character, I was able to connect. I'm like, I at least understand why you would do the things that you do. Too many times we're dropped in the middle of a superhero movie. If you start with Billy Madison, all of a sudden you have Mark Strong come out of nowhere. He would then just become like a typical villain. I understand that you said to you he was a typical villain, but at least to me, that opening scene added just a little bit extra, just enough to make all of Mark Strong's over the topness during the movie. Like, I understand what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think it's fascinating, too, to start with the villain first, because the villain came first, as opposed to the hero coming first. The hero came because of the villain, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times you see the villain comes because of the hero, Batman, Joker. But in this story, we see a hero rise because there was a need because of this villain who was created out of good intentions, not done the best way.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So, I mean, that in itself makes it definitely different from any DCEU film. So, moving right along. Oh, wait, did I talk about what was your least favorite part?
Oh, I think I mentioned it. It was that last battle scene dragged on way too long.
Yes, agree with that. And then to add on to that, the other thing about the film I didn't like was the introduction of the Marvel family, the Shazam family. I felt like that was a little bit too much. It was definitely a nice little tearjerker and kind of let's bring the family together, because the adopted family is a big part of the Shazam character, especially in the comics, and there is a separate line. But I felt like it just felt kind of too much like, oh, yay, everyone's got powers.
Yeah, is that so? Like, do they still have powers?
Yeah, they have full-blown powers.
So it's anytime they say Shazam, they'll get their powers.
Correct.
Oh, interesting.
They are full on the
But
siblings and everything.
Quick question though. So each one of those, they only have one power.
No,
Is that
they've
correct?
got the full
They do.
slate of powers.
Well, I think they each have a focus. It seems like.
Yeah.
Right. Like the little girl.
Super
Hers
fast.
was super fast. What's his face?
Could fly.
Yeah, Freddy.
Freddy.
Freddy could fly.
Yeah. Freddy could fly.
One of them had super strength. The other one had the lightning, the video game kid, and then I forget what the sister had.
I would have guessed invulnerability was probably her main one.
Sure.
Because that's the only power
That's
wasn't.
what it seemed
yeah.
like. It seemed like they each specialized in one.
yeah.
Maybe not as powerful.
Still
as
have all the
Shazam.
gamut, but even in the comics, I was reading a little bit on them. It's not like that they're all full blown crime fighters because, I mean, Shazam in terms of excuse my nerd analogy here, but the power levels, Superman is ranked as number 1. Shazam is like a very close second.
Really?
So if you
Yeah.
could imagine
Oh,
that they all
damn.
had full blown Shazam powers running around, that would be a little bit insane.
You would not need a Justice League.
Not at all.
Yeah, right.
Not at all.
And
And
then you
then
essentially have.
I mean,
what?
arguably, you don't need a Justice League.
I honestly thought what was going to happen was they were going to pick up on the Crisis on Two Earths. No, Crisis. A Flashpoint Paradox comic book line.
Really? You thought that
Where-
was going to come in this movie?
Potentially where Shazam is all of the adopted kids. They come together, say Shazam is one, and become Shazam. I thought what was going to happen was they were all going to jump into just his thing and get more powerful. That's what I thought was going to happen.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
But
Kinda
this
like
was
a-
this was nice, yeah, like a Power Ranger or a
Megazord.
Megazord type thing. But this was this was definitely interesting, kind of funny. I mean, it's really funny when you think about, like, as a director, right? You're watching, you have these actors, these 6, fully grown adults, and you need to tell them, all right, now you're an adult,
yeah.
but you're
But you're
really
still
a
you're
kid,
still a child. Yeah.
and you have superpowers.
I thought they did a good job
Go.
for the brief time they were on screen. Like it was a little overdone, a little bit cheesy, but I thought it was, it was fine for what it was.
I think that's the point of the whole movie, though. It is
cheesiness.
It's interesting, right? We talk about the DCEU, and I think they're, especially with these last 2 movies, Aquaman and Shazam specifically, they're really leaning into the cheese part of it.
Yeah.
Like they've gone fully opposite of where they were 3 years ago with Batman vs Superman, and they're just going full cheesy because the other thing didn't work.
Yeah. It's probably easier though to do that with characters like Aquaman because let's be honest, there's no way you can have Aquaman without making it cheesy because too many people make fun of Aquaman. You know what I'm saying? Is a character already too, made fun of to not make it a cheesy movie. And then Shazam is literally a kid running around in an adult's body. That's automatic cheese, right? So those 2 movies might lend itself better to that kind of portrayal of those characters. Wonder Woman wasn't cheesy, and any Batman or Superman movie they'll do in the future probably won't be cheesy. Superman they should make cheesy, in my opinion, but they won't.
Well, they didn't. They made him a murdering psychopath.
They made him a little too serious.
Speaking of Superman, what did we think of the mid-credit scene?
was
that mid-credit
hilarious.
scene or was it the end of the movie?
It
It
was
was the end of the movie.
Oh, it was the
End
last
of the
one,
movie.
That's
yes.
right. It's the end of the movie where Shazam comes in, he saves his foster brother, makes him look cool. Everybody's like, "Oh, I brought my friend in," and it's Superman, but it's clearly not Henry Cavill. You only get below the head, and then Freddy freaks out, and they cut to the credits. What did we think of that? What did we think, especially with all the rumors going around that Henry Cavill's out of Superman. There's no Superman movie in development. Any Justice League follow-up is dead. Batman's being rebooted. Like they're doing a soft reboot to the DCEU without doing Flashpoint. Like they're just trying to like move on.
I think
and
that's
get people to
fine.
forget.
Honestly, I
they
think
need
it's
to create
fine.
some good movies, so I'm totally fine with that.
Like,
But what do
do
you
what
guys
you need
think?
to do.
So saying all that though, but don't you think it confuses people then to put Superman at the end of that movie and not show who he is?
No.
No. Well, it might confuse them, but I think that's part of the joke. That's part of the cheesiness of it. It's like, it's almost like the fact that we're sitting here like kind of making fun of it is like, I think the point. They're hiding his face because they don't know, and they can put whoever they wanted in that costume, right?
Yeah,
So-
exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, these actors are playing these characters, right? These characters are bigger than any one actor, right? And nobody going into a comic book superhero film should feel like, it's me or that's it, right?
Well, don't
because
you-
that's too much power for one individual.
But you would say though that some franchises like the MCU are going to be running into that issue. For example, Iron Man. There's ever only been one live action Iron Man.
Mhm.
And that's Robert Downey Jr. In fact, Robert Downey Jr. has become so synonymous with Tony Stark.
Yeah.
He looks like him in the comic books. The mannerisms and everything are the same. They've adjusted Tony.
comic
They've
books.
adjusted the
Yeah.
comic books to reflect Robert
100%.
Downey Jr.'s role and of that film. So I feel like you can't that's a guy you can't recast immediately. That's
Not-
a guy you
not
probably have to
immediately.
wait a while. I would say
Not immediately, but you could just change.
Yeah.
You could have this big event and not
Yep.
bring him back.
Exactly. Or Iron Man, the mantle is taken up by the guy Rhodes, who plays War Machine. 'Cause
Right.
that happens in the comics.
Right.
So that to me is simple. DCEU doesn't really have that. At least in the Marvel comics, they've done a good job of every iconic superhero being played by multiple characters. At least recently, and that's been both a good and a bad thing for those comic books.
Well,
DCU doesn't
right.
really have
well, the
that.
reason they've done that is since they started the MCU, like especially the last 10 years,
Smart.
they've started doing that because they knew
Yeah.
that this was what they're going to run into at some point. So they've definitely introduced more and more mantles, more and more different personas taking on
Yep.
those different characters to basically prep the audience of like,
I mean,
this is what's going to happen one day.
it'll be great because in about 50 years, you'll have some like nerd magazine, right? Basically coming out and being like, okay, we've had 5 Captain Americas. We're going to rank them now. Who is the best, right? And Chris Evans will be in the top 2.
I mean, you already
unless
have
someone
that.
else-
You already have that with like the Batmans because there's been 5 Batmans.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so
but
many
but
Batmans.
at least in the MCU, it'll
Right.
still be a connected story.
It's true.
That's how they're trying to set it up.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is both a good and a bad thing for them. At least with the DCEU, they can go almost into every movie, and it's like, well, we can have a random person be Superman because it's connected, but it doesn't have to be that connected, right? And they're already
right.
doing that with the Joker movie, all kinds of other stuff.
And they have already recast. They recast a pivotal role in the MCU to almost begin it, right? The Hulk, Bruce Banner.
Yeah, that's true.
was recast from Edward Norton to Mark Ruffalo, and I remember there was a big concern that
It
we
confused people.
got this solo Hulk movie with one guy, and now the next time we see him in Avengers, he's a different guy. Will people be able to connect the dots? I remember the biggest issue with doing it that way is then people thought the 03 Hulk was also connected to the MCU.
Oh, like a different Hulk?
Yeah, like it was the same arc for the character. They just had cast different actors for it.
Oh, interesting.
And so some people were confused of like,
Ah,
well, I don't understand.
that story doesn't count. Good stuff.
Very good stuff. No, I think people are smart enough to figure it out on their own.
People are dumb.
People
Or at
are
least they
dumb.
or at least they can go online and Google the answer.
Right.
know?
And then, people are Googling, AdSense is made. It's economy, guys. This
Oh, yeah.
this helps the economy.
It does.
And you can hear a plane overhead.
They're coming for us because we're reviewing this movie too early.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of early, there is a Rotten Tomatoes score.
Let's
There
hear
is.
it.
What do you guys think it is?
93.
You looked it up.
Yes, I did.
93.
It is.
Because he said it.
It is 93. Do you guys think after seeing the movie, it's too high, too low, or just right?
I think it's a little too high.
It's a little. It should be probably like low to mid 80s in my opinion.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Like
Is
it was great.
Is it the
But
highest
It's not 93. Jesus Christ.
DCEU or is still Wonder Woman still
It
the highest?
is tied with,
With
Wonder
Wonder
Woman
Woman?
at 93%.
Yeah.
Can you guys guess the other Rotten Tomato scores for the other movies?
No.
There is 7. This is the 7th DCEU movie, by the way.
We're not going to go through and rank all of these right now.
At last.
Oh my
No.
God! We're not going to do that. If you want to know, you guys, those listening, you can go to Rotten Tomatoes. I'm sure you know how to use the internet.
I can run through them real
Nope.
quick.
Nope.
It's a fun fact.
It's not a fun fact.
That's a segment.
How about you talk about how much money this movie is slated to make this opening weekend?
This movie is slated to make. Drum roll, please.
I'm gonna guess not that much.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you why in a minute.
Oh, okay. That actually surprises me. There's nothing else major
Mm-hmm.
that's out right now. What month is this? March?
This is April.
Oh shit! It's April.
Yeah.
Interesting.
According to Variety, the movie is slated to make $45 million plus in its opening weekend.
Is that low, high, or medium?
That's pretty low.
I would say that is probably a little low.
Do you know
for
why?
A superhero movie.
You
Why?
know why?
Yeah, why?
It's totally being overshadowed by Endgame. People are so focused on Endgame. Who gives a flying F about a superhero in the DCU that many people don't know about. Shazam is not a well-known character. He's coming out right before the biggest movie event in the history of movies. Of course he's going to get overshadowed. People are like, oh, Shazam? Okay, but Endgame's in a couple of weeks.
This should be a social clip for when inevitably the movie makes way more than we anticipated.
Because
Which one? Shazam?
Shazam.
Because
think
this
so?
it's 45 million domestically.
Yeah.
So that's
Internationally,
not
it's pretty good.
That's not including the international numbers. So
Okay.
it will make good money.
Oh, no. There's no way it won't make good money. It's still going to come under projections. I don't know what the projections are, but I feel like they're going to be under because it's too close to Endgame.
So Krishner is
It's sandwiched
saying-
in between
we're
Marvel
doing
movies.
a quick prop bet here. So Krishner is saying he's doing the under in
Well,
terms of the film.
We need to know what the
making-
projections are before I can even
Actually,
take that
here's
bet.
real quick, real side tangent to this. It's connected, but not necessarily 100% connected. This is the lowest budgeted DCEU movie.
Damn,
Really?
That's interesting.
Yes.
That,
This-
that make, actually,
This
that makes
movie
sense.
cost $80 to $100 million. In
Yeah.
comparison, Justice League cost $300 million.
How much
Makes-
was Wonder
that
Woman?
totally makes sense.
Wonder Woman cost $120 million.
Shazam doesn't have any big names in it. Not really. Mark
Aquaman-
Strong is probably the biggest
Right.
name in that movie.
Aquaman cost $160 million, and those are the 3 cheapest MCU movies and the three of the highest rated and 3 of the highest grossing DCEU movies.
See, it doesn't just mean having big names. It makes
Big names and big budget
Uh,
doesn't
that's-
give you.
doesn't give
Oh,
you
that
a
has
hater.
nothing to do with it. I'm just saying the timing of this movie, I think, is going to hurt. That has nothing to do with the names. I think it's a lesser known DCEU character, and the fact that it's just so close to Endgame. I think people are like, there's a lot of superhero movies. Superhero movie fatigue is a real thing. And I think people are like, you know what? Shazam. That's a good Netflix movie. That's a good movie for me to rent on Redbox or iTunes.
I'm
however the hell
going
I
to disagree because we've been
my movies.
talking about superhero fatigue for almost like 2-3 years now,
That's true.
and it's not slowing down. I don't think the superhero fatigue actually exists.
We'll see on this movie. This is a good movie.
I think it's a thing that we as critics, because we are critics, I think it's something that we inherently feel. I
Sure.
don't think the general population feels that, because looking at that theater, this was a Thursday at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
You had clearly like professionals, who probably should have been at work, that decide to like put on their favorite DC T-shirt or their favorite DC whatever and go see this film. It's still resonating and it's still hitting that nerd audience, and they're still coming and seeing it. And they're going to go back to that office, and they're going to tell their, sports colleagues.
The word of mouth is all powerful.
Yeah,
That's
very
true.
powerful.
I don't know if you guys noticed,
That's
there's
true.
a lot of families there too.
Yeah,
It's
family.
even though it's a PG-13 movie, but it is very family friendly. I would say more so than a Batman vs Superman or even a Justice League.
Yes.
And it feels like with Aquaman and specifically Shazam, they're trying to lean some of the DCEU movies into a little bit more family friendly. So if we're just looking at like business strategy here, Warner Brothers has switched to let's lower the budgets, right? So then we can give the director more creative freedom, because now we're not sinking $300 million into this where, if this doesn't make it, we're losing a crap ton of money, right? 80 to 100 million, that's not hard to make up for a superhero movie.
Of course.
It's not like $300 million. So I think because of that, because they're going a little cheaper with some of these movies and not having the big spectacle necessarily, they're, like I said, they're giving more freedom to the director, more freedom to the story, and so you're getting more quote unquote authentic stories from your storytellers, who are leading into this cheesy kind of family realm that might be missing. I mean, you have the MCU, but let's be honest, how many of those movies are truly like family friendly?
Ant-Man. Ant-Man's the only one because it sucks so
Right.
much.
Spider-Man probably. It's probably
Spider-Man.
pretty family
Yeah, it's
friendly.
Spider-Man's pretty family friendly.
yeah.
But that
Sure.
is it's a
Thor's-
Sony first.
Thor's
Sony
pretty-
first.
Thor's pretty family friendly.
But-
Actually, all of them are pretty family
But
friendly.
I mean,
Let's be honest.
Infinity
They
War,
all are.
Infinity War and Endgame.
They don't
even
swear
though
at all in those movies.
Infinity
They have a couple
War,
of S words.
Infinity War and Endgame, even though they are PG-13,
Yeah.
I would not say it would be a family-friendly movie. I would say a family. If you're parents and you have young kids, I think you would have some hesitation.
But they don't, though. That's the
To-
thing. Because little kids fill up those theaters all the time. They're buying the toys. They're like, oh, I want to see my favorite superhero punch some bad guys. Let's be honest, they're not killing humans. They're always killing aliens. That's a lot easier to sell that to kids, right? When it's like a superhero fighting aliens than it is to fight, a superhero fighting another human. And that's how Marvel's really smart with that. They're like, we can make this family friendly, and it is family friendly. Like that might have been a concern 20, 30 years ago. It's not today. That's my opinion, but I just don't think that's
The rating system has definitely changed in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Right, because you can get away with a lot more.
No, you can, and Disney was a big part of that.
For sure.
Specifically with the Marvel films because they wanted to sell those Boco dollars or make those dollars.
And also have it appeal to the widest audience possible.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The shotgun
Yeah.
effect.
I think all families should see Logan.
That is a terrible idea.
Family friendly.
And speaking real
I
quick,
agree.
Logan actually reminds me. So at the beginning of the film, I leaned over during the the epically long AMC trailer binge. And I was like, Krishna, we're seeing a DC movie, correct? Because all I'm seeing is Marvel fucking trailers. We saw about what 4?
I know, it's funny. We didn't even get
at least 4.
We didn't even get a Joker trailer.
Right, which is insane.
That is weird.
Which is insane.
That is so
like,
weird.
What the hell?
Well, you know why? It's probably because the Joker will be rated R.
That doesn't matter. They've shown rated R trailers at PG-13 films before.
That's true.
That's not something
I have seen them
they
before,
don't
yeah.
like stop or anything like that. Like just because you
They
see
just have like a watered
guess that's
down
true.
version
Yeah.
maybe or something.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
like at a rated R film, you would see like the Red Band trailer or something for a Joker.
Hey, Warner Brothers needs the money.
I guess I don't know.
Wow.
They probably sold out. Yeah, this is how they sell out to Disney and Marvel. At all of our films, you can show your shitty movies
Nice.
that are better than ours. I think it's that time, kids.
I think it is. We beat this one to death, which is a good thing.
Yes.
Wait, did everyone say what their favorite part of the movie was?
Yeah, we did. I talked about the goofy parts.
Oh, that's right.
He talked about the amazingness of it.
Yeah.
And
I
you
did.
talked about the averageness of it.
Yeah. That's true.
Krishna. Oh, do you have
I
something?
was going to start.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Start.
Because we never start with you.
That's true.
Why?
Ravi,
Ooh.
was
Ooh.
Shazam good?
Yes. It was better than Justice League.
What?
That's a
Wow,
low
big.
bar.
That's
That's a
big.
low
Shut up.
bar.
Krishna.
Yes.
What? First question. I'm going to ask
Oh.
you 2 questions.
God damn.
Was Shazam better than Triple Frontier?
Ooh, that's a good one, actually. That's a really good one.
It
Oh,
was.
he-
It
oh,
was.
shit.
It
So,
was.
so
It
does
was.
that mean,
Yeah.
was Shazam good?
Shazam was good. Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's pretty obvious though. I mean,
I don't know.
I used amaze balls.
Here's
for
the
this,
wild
for this
card. Go
movie.
ahead. Ask the wild card over here.
Yeah, it's true. He's kept it hidden all day, all night.
I think he's just annoyed with something else, so he's taking it out of this film.
Ooh, okay. Interesting theory. Arjuna. Arjuna. Was Shazam good?
No.
Get out.
Surprise.
Get
I mean, he said average. Come on. We also like
Why? Redo the whole. I'm just kidding. We know why. Listen to the early parts of this podcast.
Wait, but would you watch the movie again?
Yeah, definitely.
Yup.
100%. 100%. And
so
so forth.
And so forth.
And so forth.
Ah, damn it. You
Idiot.
beat me. Yes.
Well, I think that was a good podcast, guys.
I would watch it again.
Great.
No one asked me, but I would.
So you didn't like the movie the first time where you watched it again? That doesn't make
I
sense.
didn't say I didn't like the movie. I said it wasn't good. There's a difference.
We're not getting into that. Thank you for listening. This was let me start over there for my outro. Thank you for listening. This was It Good? We just reviewed Shazam. 2 out of the 3 of us thought it was good. The one who didn't shall not be named. I'm your host, Ravi. Once again, joined by my 2 brothers, Christian and Arjuna.
Voldemort.
You can find us on Twitter at WasItGood, on Instagram at WasItGoodBTM. We are part of the larger Bad Tacos Media Group.
Umbrella Corporation.
Find us, ask us questions, and we will see you all later.
Goodbye.
Okay, we've stopped recording, but we are still streaming.
So what happened with the jackasses that were hitting us up on YouTube? What the fuck?
Let's find
We-
out.
we
What
have
a
some-
bunch of dicks.
We have some lively Leia, some lively
No, it was all like just hateful stuff. I read
it.
I reported all of it too.
Oh, perfect.
Because
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, I read
go
it.
To,
I
go,
read it.
go to hell.
I'm really amazeballs offend you? Like that's the word that like
It was Incrediballs for me.
is that the one?
It was
that did it?
Incredibles that offended. Wow,
That offended
Oh.
me.
my God.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. What kind of society we live in if I can't use the word
Did we get
balls?
any other chat? Anything else?
Sadly, that was it. It was like 2 or 3. Was it like the
was
same
2.
About
person?
3
I
people.
think it was 3 people.
Yeah,
Three
it's just,
people.
you know.
Yeah.
I just, what kind of society do we live in if I can't even use the word balls and combine it with another word, and people are like, "Okay, I'm turning off now."
Well, you know what's
But-
interesting about those comments though is they said, "Oh my God, he's starting off with balls again," which means
Oh, they tuned in.
repeat customers.
Oh shit. Well, we might have lost them. for good,
Shame
though.
on you for repeating.
Next week it's gonna be spectacular balls.
Well, how about spectacular butthole?
Butthole doesn't flow like balls is one syllable. Okay.
What
It's like
what
one-
upcoming episodes do we have?
I have no idea.
Do we?
What else do we have to do?
Well, Avengers Endgame is coming out.
That's it.
At the
Month,
end
but
of the
there's
month?
like nothing.
We
Next
do
week.
have next week.
Oh,
next
shit,
weekend
Game
we
of
do have
Thrones.
an episode. Next Sunday we will have a Game of Thrones season 8 premiere podcast.
We should really try and squeeze in a Wandering Earth before that. 'Cause
We can
did
try to.
already-
We can
did
try
already say
to.
that.
I think we should actually do a. What might be kind of cool is like a live stream, of like an equipment pack up. So we got this new device. It's called a Teradect 1. It allows us to connect this wireless device to our DSLR, and then we can move that around the house. So it might be a little cool, a little treat. We'll kind of show you behind the scenes of the house, and we'll also show you how we're packing for Star Wars Celebration, what gear we're bringing specifically for the podcast that we're doing right after the premiere of Game of Thrones, April 14th.
April
That was-
14th.
that
That's
was
the
a-
one.
That was a weird
14.
way to say it.
14.
Anywho,
Anywho,
I think that's
goodbye.
probably it, right?
Goodbye.
Yeah, that's good.
all
Go to
right.
the white card.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Triple-
All of you.
Triple Frontier.
Triple Frontier is the best movie ever.
You're an idiot.
I hate you.
Go to hell.